Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of WTF. Lena Moriarty here to fill you in on what's happening this week in an obviously left-leaning satirical manner. Let's begin. This past week, President Donald Trump attempted to offer his condolences to the wife of fallen Sergeant LaDavid Johnson. And by condolences, I mean Trump told Mrs. Johnson that her husband knew what he signed up for, because that sounds like the appropriate and empathetic thing to say to the pregnant wife of a fallen soldier who died in what seems like a suspicious occurrence. Does Trump know what he signed up for? You know, being president of the United States and all? Probably not. Sergeant Johnson is one of the 4 soldiers whose lives were lost during the ISIS ambush on U.S. soldiers in Niger. His body was found nearly 48 hours after his fallen counterparts, over a mile away from the other bodies, and the question still remains, why? Democratic Representative Frederico Wilson from Florida is calling this Trump's Benghazi, and Trump is attempting to fire back by flaunting to the public that he learned how to use adjectives. He took to, drumroll please, Twitter yet again to repeatedly call Wilson a wacky congresswoman, not once, not twice, but 3 times over a 4-day span. The wackiness probably comes from Wilson's signature choice of attire consisting of brightly colored cowboy hats that, in my opinion, complement her overall style. Well, Trump, I'd rather be wacky than straight up whack, am I right? The use of this adjective comes as a shock to many, as a majority of the public was under the impression the only adjective he knew was fake. We're glad to see him branching out. Speaking of horrible leadership choices, Spain's Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy takes the cake this week after his announcement of plans to dissolve the Catalan government as quickly as possible. This is being done in an attempt to stop Catalonia from declaring independence from Spain after Spain chose not to recognize a referendum vote that took place on October 1st. Sounds very Kim Jong-un if you ask me. In other news, Senator John McCain continues to defy his former Republican Party by digging at the Donald yet again. In an interview about the Vietnam War, he was quoted saying, "One aspect of the conflict, by the way, that I will never ever countenance is that we drafted the lowest income level of America, and the highest income level found a doctor that would say they had a bone spur." This seems to be a blow at Trump, who somehow avoided the draft 5 times during the Vietnam War after attending the private New York Military Academy. One of the times was because he was diagnosed with bone spurs in his foot. Talk about a spur-of-the-moment excuse, am I right? To wrap it up, the 5 living former presidents came together to raise money for hurricane relief during a benefit concert in Texas. To clarify, this event benefits all United States hurricane relief efforts, including U.S.-owned Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. During the event, Donald Trump appeared on a screen thanking everyone, including the presidents. Ironic, because Puerto Rico is still in shambles more than 5 weeks after Irma hit, and only 2 weeks ago was he saying he spoke to the president of the Virgin Islands after he talked to the governor because, you know, he's their president. And that's it for this week's episode. Stay tuned for next week, because whether it's making a widow cry or practicing his golf swing, President Trump always has new surprises for us. Thanks for making my job easy.